Hi, welcome to this video, and in this video we're going to be doing statistics. So now, what is statistics? Statistics is a branch of mathematics, right? Is a branch of mathematics that deals with um, data collection. It deals with data collection, um, data organization, data analysis, and also data interpretation. Okay, so what is data collection? Data collection is the gathering of information. Gathering of information. So let's talk now. How do we gather information? How do we collect information? We collect information by ways of survey, right? We can do a survey and we get information from people that respond to that survey, right? Or we can do an experiment, or we can just simply do an observation and record our data. So what is data organization? Um, Data organization is arranging the data into tables, right? We are arranging data into tables, right? But then that's not the only way to arrange data. We can also arrange data into charts, right? Or graphs, so that it can be easy to understand. So what is data analysis? So analysis, we apply mathematical method, right? We apply mathematical methods to find patterns, right? Or relationships. Or relationships. So now we have the last step is the interpretation part. Um, Here we have to explain what the results mean. Explain what the results mean, right? How do we explain what the results mean? That is a question. Can you answer that? Okay. So now I'm going to show you how this whole process work, right? We want to understand how the process work, right? So let's say, for instance, let's just start with something simple. Let's say we want to understand um the average age, right? We want to understand, this is the question, right? Understand average age of of a certain school. Let's say your school, right? We want to understand an average age of a secondary school. Cool, right? So in secondary, we have grade. In South African, we have grade 8, 9, 10, 11, and also 12. This is South African education system, right? So we have grade 8, we have grade 9, we have grade 10, we have grade 11, and we have grade 12. Okay. Let's say that is a population, right? It is a population. What do I mean by a population? Is the entire group of people. Here we have population means the entire group, the entire group of people. So here, when I say population, I mean the entire group of school uh, learners, right? So if we want to study the population of a second, and we want to understand an average age of a secondary school, right? We're going to go to that school, but then we don't have to calculate each and every individual that attended that school. But then what we can do a sample, right? This is a sample. We can do a sample of a population. What is a sample? A sample is a subset of a population, right? We have the entire group of people, which is the learners. But when we want to understand an average age, we're going to do a sample. Like, is a smaller group taken from the population. So what do I mean? Um, we have grade 8, we have grade 9, we have grade 10, grade 11, and we have grade 12. So we're going to randomly choose people from grade 8, people from grade 9, people from grade 10, people from grade 11, and also people from grade 12. And from there, that's when we can do our analysis. We don't do the analysis based on the entire school. We do a sample. Then from the sample, we do our study. But then keep in mind, there's something that is very important uh, with this sampling thing, right? A sample must be big enough to make analysis, right? The sample must be big enough to make analysis. A sample must be big enough to make analysis, right? And it is very important to understand with sampling is that we choose at random. Okay. So this is for analysis of an average age of a school learner, right? Of a secondary school learner. So I want you to understand something bigger. Let's say we want to understand. Let's say we want to understand, right? Let's say now we want to understand an average age of South African. Right. In South Africa, we have 9 provinces. South Africa is huge. it has over 60 million people, right? I want you to understand the importance of sampling, right? Because for a school, yes, we can do the whole school and do the whole analysis of the whole school. But then, let's say we want to understand an average age of South African population. We have 9 provinces, and in each and every province, there are millions of people. So to calculate, to go and ask each and every person in South Africa their age, it is going to be both time consuming and also very expensive, right? It is going to be time consuming and it's also going to be very expensive. So what can we do if we have such problem? We do sampling, right? So we have the population of South Africa here. We have the population of South Africa here. We want to understand an average age. What we can do is that, let's say this is the population of South Africa. Each and every dot here represent an individual. Let's just say this is the population of South Africa, right? So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to do sampling. And then what is sampling? We're going to be choosing people at random. The ones that I circle are going to be the ones that we're going to choose. We're going to be choosing people at random and asking them their age, right? So which basically means we're going to go to all the 9 provinces of South Africa, but then we're not going to do the entire province. We're going to choose people at random and ask about their age, right? So we're going to ask about their age at random. So that is what is called sampling. So which is a subset of population. So we're doing a subset of a population. So then after that, that's when we can do our analysis. Then if we want to calculate the average age, so we're going to apply a mathematical method of calculating an average age. So we're going to say an average age is the mean, right? We're going to add all the age of the people that we collected and we divide by that number. Then after our data analysis, what is it that we're going to do? We're going to have to explain or interpret what the result says. For an average age, it's very easy to interpret to everyone because it's just a single number, right? So that's what we're going to do. And we also have to represent our data in a simple format. Most people do not understand the entire process of data collection, data organization, analysis, and interpretations. Yeah. They only want to understand the last step, which is data representation. How do we represent the information that we have gathered? Right? And the easiest way and the most simplest way is to represent information using tables. So we're going to use tables, or we're going to use the charts. We're going to use the graphs to make it easier for an average person to understand what is the study all about. So ladies and gentlemen, this is an introduction into data handling. This is statistics. See you in another lesson.